Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Now this video is for anybody who lacks confidence with their horse, whether it's confidence on the ground or confidence under saddle. Hopefully this video is going to help you because I'm going to be talking about how your self-confidence is going to massively inform the outcomes you're having in your training with your horse. This is something I get asked about all the time, and loads of my clients, the issue that most people are having with their horses that I find it comes down to a self-confidence issue in the person themselves, not in the horse. So I kind of think there's like a confidence pandemic with equestrians, and hopefully if that resonates with you, hopefully this video is going to help you. So first of all, a really key thing I'd like anybody watching this video to take away from it is that your horse will not trust you if you don't trust yourself. And it's almost unfair to expect a horse to trust us and to do what we ask. And it's certainly unfair to expect a horse to trust us and feel safe and then behave in a calm, relaxed way in different environments if we, as its leader, are nervous, are anxious, are scared. Our horses look to us to feel safe. You have to think about horses in a natural context. Horses in a natural environment operate in a herd and they look to one another to survive. And as horse owners, as equestrians, when we're handling our horses, we need to put ourselves in the position of the lead horse. If we were in the herd with our horse, we would need to be the horse that our horse looks up to. I hope that makes sense. But our horses aren't going to look up to us and feel safe with us if we don't feel safe within ourselves. Now, I know this is so easily said than done. Like, you have to be confident in order to have a happy, confident horse. And now I hear you wonder, okay, Georgia, that's easy to say. You need to be confident, but how do I get rid of my fears? How do I elevate my confidence? I don't know how to do that. First of all, one thing I want to say about this is that I'm not expecting people to have no fear. That's unnatural and just unrealistic. Fear is a chemical reaction that happens within us. It's instinctive for us as humans to survive in our own way. So fear is something that is inevitable. And what I would say is that I get nervous and I get fearful sometimes, but I'm very aware of it, and I'm not uncomfortable with my fear. Fear or anxiety is something that you need to learn as an equestrian to embrace and to sit with and to be comfortable with. And the best way to do that is often rationalize our fears. I think sometimes people, especially when they've maybe had a bad accident or a bad fall, when they come back into the game after a break, it's very easy to catastrophize. Is that, I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's very easy to like go to the negative or like impose the worst possible outcome on the situation right now. For example, if you're hacking a horse down the road and there's a bin bag, some people, some riders who are less confident, the first thing that's going to be coming into their head when they see the bin bag is horse gonna spook, I'm gonna fall, I'm going to break my neck and be paralyzed. And so they're sat on that horse full of all this negative energy and tension that horse is then going to feel. And that's going to inform the horse because it's feeling these negative vibes from its rider. That's going to make the horse feel unsafe because that horse's natural instincts are to sense danger around them from the environment around them and by the other creatures around them. So that horse is then going to think, oh, mum's on my back, mum's panicking, high alert, be tense, be ready to flight reaction, go. I'm sorry if I'm articulating this very poorly. Normally, like, I plan what I'm saying for these videos, but I've, in a very rushed way, wanted to get one out. So I'm trying. I hope you're with me. But so horse has then gone into a heightened state, and therefore that horse is then 10 times more likely to have a heightened massive reaction to the bin bag because you as the rider are signaling to the horse there is something to be worried about. Now, here's what I would do as a rider on a horse, seeing a bin bag, and potentially I'm aware that horse is not going to like it. I would even if in a deep-rooted sense, there's a little trigger within me going, oh, right, this could be a hairy moment, I would do everything. It's my job to give my horse its confidence. So I would almost like nonchalantly take a breath and like shake it off and really like ride confidently forward with a sense of there is nothing to be afraid of. I don't know how many of you watching are parents, but see, I see lots of parallels through horse training and having a child. So if my son, William, was afraid of something that I knew there was no need for him to be afraid of it. I'm trying to think of an example. But for example, if I was walking down the road with my son and there was a bin bag on the side of the road and he was afraid of it, his fear, I wouldn't react to that as his parent by going like, oh my gosh, William's afraid. Oh my gosh, I'm nervous. Like, if I did that, that's just going to make Will even more afraid. And that's what we do to our horses when we ride down the road and we see a bin bag and freak out internally. That's what we're doing. What I do for my child is I'd walk down the road. If he was scared of the bin bag, I'd be like, babe, there's nothing to be afraid of. Come on, let's walk straight up to the bin bag. It's a bin bag. Get on with it. That's how I approach it with my child. And that's how I'd ride it with my horse, is like, try and be completely indifferent to show your horse there is nothing to be afraid of. The more attention you pay to something, the more you are telling your horse, you are literally telling the horse, you need to be afraid. You need to get into a heightened state. You need to get ready to fly. And this is something that is so simple, but so many riders aren't aware of. It's just how much influence they have on their horses. So I'm actually going to draw like a little, like a diagram of how things influence our horse. I'm just going to do this. Okay, so this is what you as a non-confident person are doing, whether it's on the ground or on the saddle. But so inconfident, I'm not getting this right. Hang on. Right. Writing and holding phone is different. Right. Let me try this. Negative thinking. Okay. This is you not confident, lacking confidence. I'll write that too. This is the person who is struggling. Okay. Negative thinking, lacking confidence in oneself. There is zero trust, therefore, for the horse. The horse is not going to trust you because you lack confidence. So the horse is not going to have confidence in you. You're negatively thinking, and so the horse is going to negatively be thinking, and there is going to be zero trust. I'm sorry, holding the phone is very difficult whilst doing this. So what happens is, therefore, you have negative outcomes. Okay? You're literally like manifesting the outcome. Okay? So negative thinking, lacking confidence in yourself, zero trust from the horse, negative outcomes with the horse. Okay, so in contrast, what happens when you go positive? So positive thinking. Even if, right, you struggle with your positive thinking, but faking it so that your horse feels it. But positive thinking will inform self-confidence. And then when you have self-confidence, your horse is going to trust you. And when your horse trusts you, you are going to have positive outcomes, okay? It's that simple. I'm not saying they're always going to be perfect, but it's like, this is the difference. Negative thinking, lacks confidence, zero trust, negative outcomes. Positive thinking, self-confidence, trust with your horse, positive outcomes. And a happier horse. Happy horse. A happy horse that feels safe. I'm doing this through the phone. I promise I can write. This is hard. Happy horse feels safe. also gives you positive outcomes. Okay? This, take a screenshot. Big, important system. Yeah, like I say, I do apologize because I'm very aware that like the quality of this video is hugely lacking. But I wanted to sort of like get all this out because I feel like it's like been building up within me. I've had quite a few DMs about this. I've had a chat. I've had clients crying with like breakthroughs about this recently, and I was like, I need to sort of talk about it and get it out there because it seems so simple, and it's like I just feel like in the equestrian community it's something that is not talked about. Like, we have obviously, when a lot of people, when they're in the lessons with their riding instructor, they'll be told like ride forward positively and da 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 da, but actually just like the whole concept of how like your mindset as the rider has so much say on what happens in the result with the horse. Like, it is so important, and it's the foundation of everything. I would say that like if you're lacking confidence, you're also therefore lacking confidence in your horse, because a lot of the time the reason people are scared of their horse is because they're expecting that the horse is going to do the wrong thing or the bad thing, or the horse is going to like misbehave, or the horse is going to bolt, or whatever your issue is with your particular horse. You're expecting that's what your horse is going to do. You're expecting the horse is going to be bad. And the horse feels that expectation from you. And then, therefore, when you're asking anything from the horse, you're not asking it in like a warm, trusting way. There's no like positive relationship there whatsoever. If you think about relationships with your partners, like in your family, think about like if you're at home with your partner and like you said to your partner, oh, babe, would you mind like putting out the bin? And you said it in a warm, loving way, like because you trusted that they would want to help you and want to put out the bin. That's like, for me, that would represent like a healthy, stable relationship, as opposed to you don't think your partner's going to put out the bin, so you like nag them, or you get like a bit sassy with them, and there's like negativity there, and there's tension there in that relationship. And there's like, if there's tension, there's obviously some sort of deep-rooted issue, because there is no trust that the partner is going to do right by you. It's literally exactly the same. I know I keep coming back to like sort of like scenarios with humans, but I find just with clients anyway, it really helps people clarify how similar it is, the relationship with your horse. But yeah, I just wanted to draw some attention to the fact of like having self-confidence and positively thinking is so important. And I know there's probably a lot of people watching this who's like, yeah, but what if you just intrinsically feel negative? What if it's like deep rooted anxiety? And I get that. I get that it's really difficult, and I've certainly been through times in my career with horses where I've struggled with my own confidence. But I think what's important when that happens, or if you're feeling that, is like to identify those negative emotions within yourself. First of all, just to be aware of them, because being aware of them and knowing that it's a you issue and not necessarily an issue with the horse is massive. Because then you're going to stop blaming the horse for what's going wrong and like looking for problems in the horse of what's going wrong, and you're going to start to look internally, which is very difficult for some people to do. I've seen some people who just simply can't accept it. You need to look internally. If there is a pattern there of like the horse is fine for everybody else, but it's not fine for you, like look to yourself and be brave enough to look in the mirror and be like, right, I want to work on myself and I want to work through this. So yeah, so first identifying those negative emotions within yourself, identifying that maybe you have some fear. And that also can be very hard for maybe people who've ridden a long time and they've always been super confident. This is what happened to me. I'd ridden for years, I've been super confident, and then I had my son, and when I came back from having Will, I went through a stage of like, ooh, like, oh, I'm like, I would never think about that risk of that happening there, or me falling off here, or this happening there. Especially with the trick riding, I started to feel that. And that really knocked me for a little bit. And I had to, the way I got through it was I like identified that it was something inside me, because I've been confident for like 25 years, and I suddenly I had my son, and there was this seed of doubt there. So I identified it within myself. I felt the feeling of fear in my own body, and then I made a conscious like leap of like, right, I'm gonna like absolutely knock it down with positivity. And something that really helped me was like riding with like one earbud in with some music that would really motivate me. I used to like listen to Led Zeppelin and stuff, but it would make me feel empowered while I was on the horse. And I did that for like a month, and then I was like over it. So yeah, like if you really want to take charge of your lack of confidence, I would say honestly, like therapy, like give yourself therapy, like go on to like do some research online. There are so many like positive therapies. There's like CBT you can do at home. Like I say, for me, like listening for music and just being aware of the doubt within me, um, and challenging myself. And another thing, if like you're struggling with confidence, is like breaking things down. So I think so many people just skip so many steps with their horses, and then I'm like, well, I'm not surprised when you're struggling or you're nervous, because you've like thrown yourself so in the deep end, or you've thrown your horse in the deep end when your relationship's not ready for it. For example, give you another example. So people taking young horses, like literal babies, out to a show because they want to see how they do in a show environment, and then being like really angry when the youngster was like totally cooked. But then they've never done the work at home with it. Like they've not taken the time at home to like take it for a little walk. Just take it out for the trailer with no expectation to go anywhere or do anything, just taking it for a 5 minute drive in the trailer and then back home. You know, taking the pressure off the horse and taking the pressure off yourself and really breaking things down and building up your confidence in how you handle your horse or how you're riding your horse. That's a massive thing to do as well. Right, I'm really going to have to go now because I'm actually going to do some work with my own horses, and then I've got to pick up my little boy from school. I'm sorry if it's been a bit of a jumble. This YouTube thing is kind of new to me and it will get better, but I hope you all have a lovely day. And if you have any questions, please drop them in the comments and I will endeavour to get back to you. Bye.